Hey, we'll get started here in just a second as the computer is streaming stuff over. All right, there we go. Good there. Close that down and I would like to share my screen. Boom, shakalaka. Let's hit the record button as people are logging in. Always give them a couple minutes here to get logged in. Record the cloud. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to Wednesday night. Hopefully you've had a great start of your week, great hump day. I am glad to be here tonight, even just so jacked up for a special guest and keynote here in a little bit, but doing this live and remote, out traveling, but wanted to make sure to deliver tonight for you guys out there. We've got investors all across the country. We've exceeded the 200 RSVP mark for tonight's call. So first milestone for that for the US REI Network. Glad to have you guys. And then also always excited to see that our replays are hitting consistently 200 plus replays on there as well. I'm excited because yesterday I got approved for LinkedIn Live. So you'll see these, if you're on LinkedIn, we'll be replaying those also in full on LinkedIn Live starting on the day after, like we used to do with our replays, going back across Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. Honored to have our these replay across our 26,000 connections there on LinkedIn. So kudos for that. And then we'll be delivering some other stuff on there as far as webinars and our podcast as well. But guys and gals, welcome to the United States Real Estate Investor Network. You can always check out the website at usreinetwork.com. We meet every Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. East Coast time, or 4 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And we've always, we do a 15, 20, 30 minute intros of who's here as a chance to network. I highly encourage you to go out and check some of the things, and we'll bring up the different groups that are available for you to network with people, depending on what platform you're on. But we're here just to help serve, deliver. Somebody asked me, Scott, why are you doing REIA on other types of real estate besides note investing? Look, I still focus on note investing. I just have such a great network of friends that are doing so many amazing things, like our special guest tonight in real estate. And we get so many investors that opt into our network that may not be interested in notes, that they want to do something else. And so we started this up the first of the month, and excited to have everybody be a part of this. Getting a lot of great feedback from people, the guests, the speakers, and our vendors as well. So welcome to Wednesday night. Thank you for being here. Whether you're watching this live or catching the replay, hey, always glad to have you here. Our focus and philosophy is focused on providing a space for investors to find and promote deals, raise capital, and grow as investors. We all need a place to start off. And when I started as a real estate investor, the number one spot that I found a lot of help was my local REIA when I was into general real estate. And I know that many people aren't connecting, they're not going back to live REIAs. And so, and today's market isn't just really your backyard. It's literally everywhere. I invest in about 30 different states. I know there's a lot of people on the West Coast that are investing on the East Coast or Missouri, other places. I mean, I live in Austin. Heck, Austin should be California East for the most part. But the biggest thing is you have to realize that everybody has a different focus, and that's totally philosophy on what they're focused on. And we want to treat everybody with respect. So treat everybody with the golden rule. Rudeness will not be tolerated. And our goal is to provide resources across the country. Highly encourage you to check out our vendor network if you're in the meetup group, or if you check out my channel on WeCloseNotes.tv, you'll see a lot of the vendor spotlight videos, short videos talk about some of the vendors that work with investors across the country. So like I said, if you're joining us for the first time, each week we focus a vendor and a subject matter expert, and we're usually out of here just at 2 hours for you. So you're able to spend the rest of your Wednesday night doing stuff with your friends or family or networking. So a little about me. I've been a active real estate investor for over 20 years, a fix and flipper, a landlord, wholesaler, private money lender. But for the last 14 years, I've been the focused primarily on notes, and I'm the CEO of a company called WeCloseNotes.com and the host of a podcast called The Note Closer Show, which we've exceeded 1.2 million downloads, and it's nationally syndicated across the country on 17 radio channels. So you may also hear our content here from the US REI Network on our radio network. This one will go out, actually, this will go live next Tuesday on there. I was excited to be the 2014 Note Educator of the Year, and I was a runner-up in 2018 for being the Investor of the Year finalist from Think Realty. But that's about me, ladies and gentlemen. We need your help. Yes, help me help you. A little Jerry Maguire there for you. Feel free to invite others, everybody. It's always great to see more people RSVP'd and attending the event here. What's so great about especially our subject matter experts, is they've all got a big heart. They really want people to succeed. I guarantee you've seen it so far the last couple of weeks. You'll definitely see it tonight. The passion just oozes from people on really trying to help people overcome their hurdles and mind blocks and really take advantage and really dive into real estate. Share your haves and wants. If you've got a deal there you're looking to get rid of, or you're needing lending, or looking for something, or you've got money that you're looking to invest and looking for a deal, hey, please raise your hands during the haves and wants. As we grow in size, we'll probably have that take a little bit longer, or we may start having you featured a little bit more so. But as always, we expect you to network with others, share your deals. We have the Facebook group, the LinkedIn group, the meetup group for you. If you're going to share a deal during the haves and wants, make sure you own it or have it under contract. Don't be part of a daisy chain. Don't be a joker broker. Have it under contract before you share it. If you don't have it under contract, don't share your deals. Okay? You have it under contract. Let's make sure it's a real deal to share it to the audience. And as always, feel free to drop in your LinkedIn URL, your actual profile URL, in the chat roll. Make sure it's set to share with everyone. If you want to connect with other people, your contact information, put it in the chat roll for people. Great way for people to connect with you, okay? And as always, check out the website, and then make sure you join the meetup group, the Facebook group, or the LinkedIn group, depending on which channel that you're on or which social media network you're on. We know that not everybody likes Facebook. Others don't like to be on meetup. Some people love LinkedIn, other people don't. But make sure you're joining those, sharing your group, sharing your contact information on there as well. That's the whole idea, is to help you with the network. If you don't know the URLs to that, go to the website, usreinetwork.com. And if you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see the meetup, the Facebook and LinkedIn icon. Click on those. Those will take you directly to those groups for you to join and start networking. Okay. Our normal rundown each week is our introductions and expectations. We always follow that up with the haves and wants. We'll talk about the featured deal of the week. We'll also talk about a short vendor spotlight, usually not longer than 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes maybe a little bit longer depending on the situation, but a short vendor spotlight for you to talk about. And then we bring our subject matter expert. And then if we've got time after work, we'll do a little online networking. You should be out here in about an hour 45, 2 hours for you. And as we get rocking and rolling here with the haves and wants, let me pull it up here real fast. We've got a few folks on here. There's some new faces I see for the first time. Great, glad to have some of you all on here. All right, let's open up for haves and wants. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you have a deal to sell or flip, or funding to provide, or looking for funding, so feel free to talk about that. Okay. Hey, Daryl, good to see you, buddy. You're welcome. Like I said, must own it or have it under contract. If you are you looking for a deal, a vendor, or funding? If you're looking for, hey, I need a realtor in here, or I need a hard money lender, or I'm looking for a self-storage facility or something like that. Hey, this is the place to bring it up. Be specific, share your deal specifics ahead of time if you'd like. If you've got a deal you're looking to move, feel free to reach out to me. We'll be glad to bring it up and share it on there, okay? Once again, leave your information in there. And feel free to post your haves and wants in the groups as well for it. That's what it's there for. But treat others with a golden rule. That's the most important thing. Rudeness, ugliness will not be tolerated out there. So welcome to the US REI Network, everybody. So let's dive into the haves and wants there for you. I've got a deal available for sale. We'll bring it up. If anybody's an investor in Ohio, specifically Springfield, Ohio, or looking for a rental property, I've got a duplex on a note that we're gonna needs to be finished foreclosed on, but it could be a really good deal. We'll talk about that later on. But I've got let's see, Angie Zai, I see you on there. Steven Schulman says he's interested in purchasing storages. Well, that's why you're here. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Angie Zai, hopefully I'm pronounced that right. For you guys, I'm gonna hit the allow to talk button if you want to come on. Angie, can you, Angie, still looks like you're muted. If you don't want to talk, say, please no. All right, Angie's probably not seeing this. Somebody I know that's always glad to give me her nickel's worth or a dime worth of information is Catherine Bell. Join us. There we go. I ask you to unmute Catherine if you're listening in.
Hey, Scott.
What is going on, Catherine? How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm awesome. Super excited about this weekend, by the way.
Hey, we're going to have a good time.
Right?
Did you see my email? I need your address so I can book a hotel.
Yeah, I respond immediately.
Oh, I must have missed. I'll look at it here in a little bit then. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. I love it.
Catherine, share with everybody who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
So my name is Catherine Bell. I've been an investor for about 20, 25 years, gone through buy and holds. I've had a hedge fund with Airbnb portfolio. I've done about 500 fix and flips. And now my favorite part is just being the bank doing notes. We also have a commercial development division as well. And so we actually have 2 deals right now that we are looking for somebody that wants us to add commas to their bank accounts. That's what I'm known for, is adding commas to bank accounts and collapsing timelines. So we have a first lien note for property out in Hampton, Virginia. And so it's $210,000 for 12 months, and we'll pay 9%. Anybody interested in that, let us know. And then we have some really cool commercial condos that we are building here in the Phoenix Valley. And we're raising $500,000, but people can participate at $50,000 a share. Each share gets you 2% of the ownership, and we're expecting the returns on this deal to be about 30 to 35%. And then it's only for about 12 to 18 months. We've already broken ground on it, and there's 8 commercial condos in there, and one of them we already have under contract. So we need the funds by October 15th on that one as well. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. We're going to be going out and doing a video shoot on it on Friday. So we'll be sharing that across our network, and anybody can connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that fabulousness.
Are you doing TikTok? Are you really doing TikTok videos? You popping and locking?
Right. So my niece actually came over yesterday and got me connected on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and started showing me how to do that. Like, kids are teaching me how to do all this.
So Steve, can we expect to see some TikTok from Steve then? There you go. Good
well,
stuff.
They have to be 3 minutes or shorter, so I'm not sure about that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So Stephen asked, what is Catherine's email? So Catherine, if you'll type your email in the chat roll for everybody and your contact information.
Absolutely.
And then make sure those deals that you talked about, go post them in the different groups so everybody gets, because we've got people that those groups are starting to grow that aren't on here tonight that may be willing to look at it, or may have the network be able to share it out there as well. Are you paying any type of referral of bird dog fees for people helping you find money or find investors?
Yeah, we can have that conversation for sure. There's enough out there to have it be a win-win for everybody.
Awesome. Good stuff. Glad to hear. And then on the Hampton, Virginia note, the $210,000, is that as a first lien?
It's a first lien note. Yep. And
what's the market value on the property?
The market value is it's $280,000.
$280K. And is it performing or non-performing?
It's performing.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a performing note.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
He just needs the money for 12 months, and then there's a balloon payment at the end, and he's going to refi out of it into something else. So it's so the cool part about this is he's actually in the military. This will be his 12th house he's done this on. And he actually will be out of the military in 2 years. So he's just building up his portfolio as he's serving our country. Wow. And being able to do this. So I think it's pretty cool. It's, part of our company is that we leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. So to be able to help somebody who's serving this country in that way, I think it's kind of cool.
That is really cool. Congratulations. Look forward to getting more details on that, Catherine. See you Saturday.
You will. I'm excited.
Good stuff. All right, let's see here. Ronald Moyes. I'm going to let you, hopefully I pronounced that properly. Ronald Moyes. You should see something pop up on your screen, guys. Asked to meet. Looked like you raised your hand, Ronald, to come on and say something. So looks like you're still muted. We'll try it one more time before we move on to others. Hello, Ronald?
Hello.
Yeah, there's such bad background noise. It sounds like you're driving, Ronald. We're just gonna, if you want to stop driving where you're in a solid spot, that'd be great. let's see if he pops up again there, but it sounded like we got more background noise than actual physical noise. But anyway, let's move on here down to David Spalding. Ask you to jump on and introduce who you are, what you're working on.
Yeah, this is David Spalding, Beth Spalding, and we're fixing flippers. We've done 5 in the last 2.5, 3 years. My wife's a real estate agent, and I do contract drawings for glass shops here in Houston as
Nice.
A different source of income.
Nice. So are you guys just investing in Houston or all throughout Texas or other places?
Yeah, we're mainly in the northeast side of Houston, the Kingwood, Humboldt, Atascocita area. That's what we're familiar with. We ventured out north a little bit. It was quite a drive, about 1.5 hours, and it didn't turn out so good. So we stayed in our area.
Okay. Just rentals or fix and flips or wholesaling or anything particular you're looking for?
Yeah, we're fix and flip right now. That's just what we like to do. The market's pretty competitive for the lower end rental purchases. So we're kind of doing our own research and marketing, trying to find off market deals.
Okay. Any price point that you're looking for? You're funding with your own funds, or you have private money or hard money to fund your stuff?
Yeah, we typically use hard money and our own, of course. And then we're in the I guess the ARV 350 and under.
Okay.
And our wheelhouse would be about between 250 and 350.
Awesome. Sounds good. David, thank you for joining us, being on here tonight, man. Make sure to share your information, stuff in the different groups. I'm glad to have you, bud.
Hey, I appreciate it.
All right. Let's move on down here to Aaron Cowling. Let's see if Aaron wants to come on and say anything. Boom, boom, boom. Aaron, there should be something that pops that says ask to mute. If not, no problem. We'll move on. Let's move on to Roberta, aka Ro Hilber. No problem. Okay. Anybody? So let's see here. Terrell Heiserman, I'll let you come on if you want. You guys should see something pop that says allow you to talk or unmute your phone. Let's try it one more time there. If you're looking to unmute yourself, it's at the control screen for Zoom. There's a microphone that should be crossed through that you hit to unmute yourself, but no biggie. Can't. Dale Crabtree mentioned he's looking for small balance apartment complexes. He's got somebody who will fund him 100% if it's in a well-populated area. So just wanted to put that out there for you guys, and possibly self-storage units as well. Victoria Vietes, I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm going to ask you if you want to come on and say something, Victoria. All right. I guess people are like, no, don't. I don't want to talk tonight. And that's fine. We'll move on there, guys. So, because I know you're going to want to hear what our featured speaker is here. But anyway, before we bring on our amazing speaker, we do have the featured deal of the week, and I shed a little light on this one. This is a actual picture that I took of this property. It's in Springfield, Ohio. It's a duplex at 417 to 419 Race Street there in Springfield, Ohio. It's a 2-2 duplex, over 2,000 square foot. The non-performing note CFD. This has been a pain in the ass bar because of everything with COVID. They're renting the property out roughly at about $550 per side, 600 from what we can tell. But they've been unresponsive, and we started the foreclosure process and we started back up, obviously, because of everything. But wanted to reach out here to you guys. If you're interested, they owe the unpaid balance is $34,000. Fair market value is $50K plus. I've seen some numbers at 60, 65, but we're valued it at 50 because I believe it does need a little bit of work. Although the bar looks like they are doing some maintenance to the property based on our drive-by. Okay. Like I said, the rent rate's $550, UPB's 34, payouts over 40. There's a few grand in back taxes, but it looks like the bar may have applied to do a tax payment plan based on what the county's told us. We're willing to sell this position for $20K cash on that. And what you would do is finish up the foreclosure, or you could reach back out to the bar, try to do a little modification. Agreement, their payment is $323 a month with an interest rate of 9.13. I think the best thing is basically to foreclose on this thing and either keep the renters in place or turn around and sell it as an REO. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to pick it up if you're interested. $20K for this deal. Of course, do your own due diligence on it. Trust but verify. It is currently serviced with Madison Management. We've had it for a little while, and I will have an updated payoff probably sometime tomorrow from the servicer on that. But anyway, if you're interested, just drop me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. Scott@weclosenotes.com. We'll be glad to get you the information, the collateral file, and everything else if you're interested. But Springfield's a nice little market, and it's appreciated quite a bit of value. So we're pretty excited about that. But anyway, moving on. If you're interested, give me a phone call. But moving on. Hey, if you've got a deal, you've got a property you're trying to move, a property you're trying to raise capital for, an REO you want to sell, a rental, whatever it might be, hey, reach out to me. Email me the specifics, the photos, the stories. We'll be glad to put it together in a slide for you. Have you come on, talk about the deal, tell us the story behind the story, and let you get it featured in front of thousands of investors all across the world for those to get up. And it's no cost to you. It's just a thing we're doing to try to promote the US REI Network and help give you an extra bonus to those of you that are joining us on here. So schedule a call with me to talk about it if you're interested. I talkwithscottcarson.com. It's talkwithscottcarson.com. And glad to have you help out with that. Our vendor spotlight. Want to just do a quick recap on this. If you've got an owner finance note, a contract for deed, performing, non-performing note, first lien on a residential property or a first lien on a commercial property, any loan of $15K or greater, we'll even look at mobile home loans as well. Give us a phone call. Check us out at WCN Note Quote. It should be notequote.com. That's WCNotequote.com. About 25, actually, I think 28 questions. To fill out the information, send us a copy of the note. We can get a no obligation bid back to you in roughly about 2 business days of what we would pay for that note. So if you're interested, got an owner finance note, a wraparound, a subject to deal, definitely interested in subject to deals as well. Feel free to go to WCNnotequote.com, submit your bid, submit your information, and we'll come back with a bid and what we pay for that. And then if it's something that, hey, well, we won't buy, we're glad if you want to help us market it out to our database as well for you. But anyway, WCNnotequote.com. Doesn't cost anything to submit your offers on there. Check it out. Okay. Now, just to give an idea on the schedule here, the next couple of weeks, we do have me speaking next Wednesday night on investing in non-performing notes with yours truly. It's next week, next Wednesday night. The following week, we have our good friend Aaron Young, the CEO of Laughlin and Associates. We talk about protecting your assets with a corporate veil. And I know that many investors out there aren't doing the right things when it comes to protecting your stuff, setting up the right entities, making sure you're writing the right checks to yourself or not compensating yourself or paying incorrectly. And Aaron always delivers a lot of great content, the best expert when it comes to talking about corporate veil, asset protection. So you definitely want to join us, whether you've got one prop, you've got 100 properties or no properties. Always talk about setting up the structure the right way. So we're excited to have my buddy Aaron Young, my brother from another mother, join us in 2 weeks here on Wednesday nights. It'll definitely be a good one as well. So make sure you mark your calendars for those. We'll should have both of those up on the calendars and the events on LinkedIn and also meet up and Facebook here by tomorrow if they're not already up there. But anyway, any questions, comments, concerns before we get rocking to our main event? Stephen asks, because I can't find the mute icon. Where is it? Normally, I don't know where it's at if it's not on your computer. I don't know. It's worked for others there, but sorry, Stephen. We'll get you next time. All right. No questions, no comments. Well, then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You are in for a treat. I will tell you this. I met this lady, God, it's hard to believe, I think 3 years ago, two years ago. She had me come out and speak to her amazing real club in Atlanta there. She is just an amazing investor, a huge passion. And I will tell you, there's probably no better teacher of somebody investing in self-storage facilities than this lady who goes out, walks the walk, talks the talks, done a great job. And I believe in the last 2 years alone, she's taken down 12 different storage units. I think 8 she operates, 4 she sold off to other investors. So if you're looking to get into the self-storage facility, this is a lady that I learned from. This is the lady that I recommend to my network. That's why she's here at the US REI Network. And we're so honored to have the one, the only, the amazing, the modern day self-storage superhero, Miss Stacy Rossetti. Stacy, are you there?
Boom.
Boom, they're just like that. Good stuff. How are you doing tonight?
So can I be your your sister from another mother? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. That's totally fine. Sure, sister from another mother. Exactly. No problem at all.
Well, we're from Austin, so it's kind of like we're family.
Exactly. Everybody's in Austin. Everybody's family member here in Austin.
Yes,
we're friendly in Texas here. So.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for coming. Let me come hang out.
Yeah. You have a slide you want a slideshare you're going to?
Okay. Slides.
No problem.
I do a flip chart.
Oh, I love it. So what I will do then is I will take my video down. I'll be here. You want to take questions as they come, or you want to moderate at the end?
You tell me, if it's something that it's going to go with the flow, then just jump in and let me know. If it's like some random thing like that doesn't fit in, then we'll do it at the end.
All right, sounds good.
And I have chat on for Zoom, so I can see the questions there.
That's perfect.
If there's any other questions coming up anywhere else, okay?
Nope, you're golden. Take it away, Stacy.
Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. My name is Stacy Rossetti, and I invest in real estate. I've been investing in real estate for 10 years. Over the last 5 years, I've been investing only in self-storage. And the reason why I invest in self-storage is because I am lazy. That's why I'm lazy. All right. The longer I invest in real estate, the lazier I get. All right. And I want to go over why I feel tonight that self-storage investing is the best kept secret in the real estate investing world. And the truth is there should be more people investing in self-storage. But for some reason, this industry, this niche always just gets skipped for some reason, Now, it is a hot topic, right? It's a hot topic right now about storage and commercial real estate. When I got into real estate 10 years ago, nobody wanted to be in commercial real estate. I mean, nobody really wanted to be in residential, but definitely not commercial, right? And now commercial is hot and everybody wants to get in it. Luckily, I've been in it for the last 5 years, so I'm way ahead of a lot of people. And just actually today, I closed on another storage facility. So congratulations to me, because I closed on another storage facility today. And
awesome. And this is the one was this the one in the Florida Panhandle?
This is one in Florida. So we are going global. We're going global. I'm crossing the border. So we are mostly in Georgia. We bought our first storage facility today in Florida. We have another one that we're closing on in Florida, and I'll talk about that tonight. This at the end of this month, and we're also closing on another one in Georgia at the end of the month. So we are kind of rocking and rolling. I mean, the thing is, I got this thing down now. All right, we a lean, mean self-storage investing machine is what we are. All right, and I'm going to show y'all kind of how we do that, what we do, how I got started. I primarily invest in properties that are $1 million or less. All right, so I am the grassroots guru of self-storage investing, because most of the time when you get out and you start looking around I really want to invest in self-storage, you're going to find people out there talking about these huge, big facilities that are millions and millions of dollars, right? So, but what we do is we focus on $1 million or less. I mean, we're at kind of $1 million is where we're at per facility now. But I didn't start out that way. I started out at a property I can't remember who it was that was flipping homes in Houston. And he went out and bought properties that were less than $300,000. We bought storage facilities that were less than $300,000. Now, what happened was I was rehabbing. I was one of those crazy rehabbers. When I got in 2010, 2011, 2012, right? And Scott and I were talking about this before we started meeting tonight. I was spoiled, man. I could go out and buy houses for 50 grand. Then I would put 50 grand into them and I would rehab them and sell them for 150 grand. Essentially, that's what I did. I did that over and over and over. That for 5 years, I did 100 rehabs, just like that, essentially just like that. I was very, very cookie cutter. We did a lot of rehabs. And then what happened is the prices started going up. And guess what? I was just like, man, I'm already sick of houses anyways. Like, I'm just going to get out. And what I did, so what happened first is that I got pregnant. In 2015, I got pregnant. And at the time that I got pregnant, I was doing 15 rehabs, and I had 15 rehabs in the pipeline. All right. So I was just like, kind of internally as a mom to me, as our very first child, I was just kind of freaking out, honestly. And I was just like, how am I going to do 15 rehabs and have this baby? I was already running around like a crazy person, right? So I was just like, that's it. We're not buying any more rehabs. Now, it took us a long time to finish those. We finally finished our last rehab in 2017. So we had to go through and finish all those rehabs. But what happened is that once we finished those rehabs, and those rehabs were right around what that guy had said, like, you know, sell price at 350 grand, you know, that's kind of what everybody was at that time. Right. And so what I did is after I finished those rehabs, I just convinced my, my private lenders to just like roll that money into something else. And basically what happened is I started finishing all these rehabs. And so I went to go talk to these lenders. And I said, look, I'm not doing any more rehabs anymore. And they were all just kind of like, what? Now what are we going to do? You know? And I was like, I'm going to figure out something. I'm going to figure something out, but I don't know what. And at 2015, 2016, 2017, if you've been in it as long as I have, you kind of know, I'm sure Scott knows, is that was right around the time when multifamily started to get talked about, right? For the first 5 years, like everyone's like multifamily, no, like I'm never going to, ooh, that's horrible, you know? And then about 2015, 2016, 2017, everybody started talking about multifamily. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do some multifamily. So I started looking at all these apartments and like these triplexes and like big apartment buildings. But the thing is they all needed rehabbing. They all needed rehabbing. And at that point, I was just like so done with houses and rehabbing. I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I was like, I've got to find something else. So what happened is I ended up buying a commercial building, and it did need a rehab, and not like a huge big rehab. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I want to get into commercial, but I just don't really know what I'm doing. So I went out and I bought this like commercial building, and I was like, I'm gonna flip this thing. I didn't need a lot of work. And in the end, I ended up just wholesaling that, but it kind of was my first step into commercial real estate. And the truth of the matter is that when you get into commercial real estate, you start making some money, right? So gone are the times, gone are the rehabs where you make 20 or 30 grand, right? Or you wholesale and you make $5,000 or $10,000, right? On the commercial side, you start making all this money. So I was like, you know what? I like this commercial side. And so my realtor that I have been working with for 10 years, I basically told them, look, we got to get into the commercial side. This is where I want to be. So he said, well, you know what? I have this thing that I found like right around the corner from your house. And I was like, yeah, what does it tell me? He says, it's a storage facility. And I said, storage facility? I never even thought about storage facilities before. He said, well, there's one that has been sitting on the market for 5 years and nobody's bought it. And this is back in the day when like properties used to sit on the market for like 5 years and nobody would buy them, right? And so I said, yeah, I'm interested. I want to go take a look at the storage facility. He said, okay, here's the address. Go drive by and take a look at it. All right. So that's what I did is I drove by it and I took a look at it. And the facility looks like this. Right. So let me see. It looks kind of like this. All right. So I'm on this is like a main road down here. All right. And it comes up like this. And there's like a school here. Okay, is what it is. It's school. And then I came up to this big piece of property. All right. And I drove up and there's a gate right here with a little keypad. Right. There's a little gate. And right here on this property, like right here, was like, I'm guessing at least 100 to 200 tires. Like essentially this property right here had become a dumping ground. And the school was kind of a dumpy. It was like a dumpy school, like a daycare kind of thing. And I drove up and I already I looked at those tires and I was like, this thing is going to be good. Right. Because, I'm a rehabber at heart. I like dumpy properties. I just like dumpy properties. That's what I like. Right. So I drove up and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. And then as I drove up, there was there was an RV. and it was parked like that, right? It was just like randomly parked, like they came in and just went like I'm just gonna park there. And there was all this parking right here. This was all like parking. And this is all like storage. And there was like one long skinny building like that, okay? I couldn't really see all the way in, but I knew that this property was 3 acres, okay? And then because that's what, because that's what my realtor told me. And so I couldn't see around in the back, so I couldn't get in because there was a gate. I was just driving by to take a look at it first. But I did see that like the owner, whoever had been managing this, was just basically like, go find a parking spot. And like literally the parking was just randomly all over the place. And on top of that, there were not only tires here, there were tires everywhere. Wherever I could look, there was like tires being dumped, trash, oil, cans. Like, I mean, people had just been working in that area, on their cars. Like, who knows what was going on in there, right? It was a mess. It was a dump. Okay. So I was like, man, I like this thing. This is a good one. And see, the thing is with storage is that when you drive up, when you find a storage facility that's like a dumpy storage facility, it's not a rehab. All right. So we don't do any rehabs. Essentially what you're doing is just picking up trash, and you're getting old tenants out and you're getting new tenants in, new tenants that will follow your rules, right? I call it training your tenants is what I call it. Okay. So you want to, as a storage facility owner, your job is really to be as a property manager, and your job is to be the best manager that you can possibly get, making the most amount of money with the least amount of expenses, right? So in the storage investing world, and the way that we look in our company, so we have around, I'm guessing, it's over 1,000 doors. I don't know how many doors we have, but 1,000 doors as of right now. And as of next month, we'll probably have another, I guess, like 200, another 200 more. Okay. So we're closing another 200 more in the next month. So, so we have a lot of doors. Okay. Now in the storage investing world, they don't say doors, right? They say square feet, right? So I'm going to tell you, and I don't even know how many square feet. I think I have like 100,000. I have no idea how much square feet I have. Okay. That's my husband. Okay. So anyways, this is kind of how it looks within our business. So you can know, what does it take to run 1,000 doors? All right. What kind of manpower, what kind of brain power? This is why I'm telling you, I'm lazy, right? Now, this is Miss Lillian's self-storage. So you can go and you can Google us, you can check us out. All right. So I'm real, I'm legit. All right. Lillian is my daughter. She's 5 years old. All right. She is going to get this massive empire, because we ain't done buying storage facilities. Just so y'all know, we got enough to last us until we retire now. But so everything that we get after this is all going right to her. So she can get an empire. And every time we take her to the storage facility, we're like, we put her to work. We make her sweep out the units and stuff. You can go on my YouTube page and just search Stacy Rossetti Teaches. All right. And you can go to YouTube and watch my videos, but you'll see Lillian. She's in there like sweeping out the units and stuff. We make her work for her, for her Roth. But anyway, so she is she's going to get everything. Essentially, that's the thing. That's our goal for her, right? So we don't really need a lot. My husband and I don't need a lot of money to live. Actually, the truth is we live in an RV. And we travel the country. All right. So last year we traveled 8 months out of the year. We went all over the country. This year we've traveled we've traveled like at least 5 months. I don't know. We're doing a lot of like stuff right now, but we live in an RV and just travel around. We're going to go up to New York and go take care of my husband's dad here in the next couple of weeks until the end of the year. We're just going to stay in New York. That kind of stuff is what we do. So we live in an RV and just travel around wherever we want. Okay. And we manage all of our storage facilities from the RV. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so this is our company. I told y'all it's a lean, mean, self-storage investing machine. All right, so this is us. And the way that we focus our business is on what I call our 3-step process: finding them, funding them, running them. Okay, finding them, funding them, running them. Okay, so the finding part is now done by Chris. He's our acquisitions person. So we need to buy a lot of storage facilities. We have a fund. We got syndication stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff going on, right? So we always need deals. So essentially last year I hired an acquisitions person, trained him in-house, and his job is to find as many storage facilities as we can so that we can buy them. I used to do that. Up until then, I went out and I found the storage facilities. Now I've delegated that off because I need so many of them and I just don't have the time to do it all, right? So Chris does that. He finds them for us, okay? And he drives around. How do we do that? We drive for storage. All right, that's how we find our deals. That's how we find the best deals. We talk to our owner. We talk to the owners face to face. That's how we get our deals, okay? If you go online and look for a storage facility, you ain't gonna get a good deal, all right? Now you can find an income producing property at a very low cap rate. You can find that on the online if you want to do that. But who in the hell wants to buy an income producing property at a low cap rate? Only hedge funds want to do that. All right, we're smarter than the hedge funds, right? Now, income producing properties is one of the 6 ways that you can invest in self-storage. All right, we're going to go through 6 different ways to invest. Income producing property is, they are 75% full. They're making money every single month. And, they have you could say they have an NOI. They have P&L, they have a balance sheet, they have, tax returns they can get you. And then you can go to a bank and you can get an interest rate of 4% for 20 years or something like that, right? That's income producing properties. All right, that's one of the 6 ways to invest in self-storage. The other way that we're going to go over right now, we're going over right now with my facility that I picked up my very first one, is a mismanaged facility. Mismanaged, right? These are the ones that, like, when I talk to the owner and I say, how much money are you making? And he says X amount of dollars. And I say, awesome. Can you prove that? And they say, no, that's a mismanaged property, right? I like to buy mismanaged properties and turn them into income producing properties. That's what I personally like to do. With a mismanaged property, though, you have to know that you're coming out of pocket every single month, right? You know that it's going to take you a year or 18 months to get that thing up and running, 6 to 18 months, depending on, how bad it is or whatever. We bought one in January that's just like this first one. This first one took us about 18 months to turn a profit because it was so bad. And we just bought another one. It's gonna be good. I'm going to go into that here in a minute, but we can make some money on that sucker. All right. So income producing and mismanaged properties. All right. Income producing and mismanaged properties. And we'll get more into that as we talk tonight. Okay. But now finding them, the way that we find our facilities is door knocking. It's really driving for storage and talking to owners, all right? Getting in touch with the owners and getting them to sell us their facilities, all right? Because if you go online to find a facility, it's just not going to be good. It's not going to be that good. It's going to be okay, You can get it at a 6 cap and get it to like a 10 cap. Or get it to, buy it at an 8 cap, or buy a 7 or an 8 cap and get it to a 12 cap maybe or something. My properties, I buy them at like a -2 cap and get them to like a 26 cap. That's what I do. You find those by talking to the owners and driving for storage. All right. If you want to go online and you just want to make money, a little bit of money every single month, and maybe have a little bit of appreciation on the back end, then go online and look for a property. All right. And that's, you know, that's the difference between income producing and mismanaged properties. So anyways, finding them is our first department in our business. This is our business, how to find them, acquiring them. All right. And now Chris is our acquisitions person. His job is to go out and find these properties for us. And we'll find properties from 200,000 to, you know, we're putting one under contract right now for maybe, I'm shooting for 3, but it'll probably be between 3 and 4. We put an offer in for $3 million. And I'm hoping to get 3 million, but it might be up to 4 million. It's probably worth more 4 million, but you know, it's 3 million just to see what he said, you know. Anyways, finding is right here. Okay, and then the next thing, right, is funding them. Funding them. And it really depends on what type of property that you get, you know, how you're going to fund the deal. There's no one way to fund. There's no just private lenders and hard money lenders, like how it works in the residential side. There's all these different ways to fund your deals on the commercial side. So we're going to get into that a little bit today, you know, but my job, this is my job. I'm the money magnet. I'm the one that raises the money to buy all of the deals that we're doing. Okay. That's the funding part. And under this is what I call creative deal structuring. In the commercial world, you got to learn how to structure your deals. All right. Because if you only think that you can put 20% down and go to a bank to get a loan, you're missing out on some deals. Right now, I have a student in my coaching program. This is awesome. She's buying a $3 million property. It's a mismanaged facility that will be worth in the next 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. It'll be worth $6 million. She's picking it up for $3 million. 630 units. She's closing on Monday. $3 million going to be worth $6 million. She is only putting $150,000 into the deal. And then one of my lenders and me, and actually 2 of my lenders and me are all coming in, and we're partnering and bringing the rest of the money for the down payment. So the down payment is roughly almost $1 million, something like this. Okay. Like 900,000. So we're all coming in together. We've created this company together. We're putting the down payment down, and then we're going to get a loan for the 80%. So essentially, I'm only putting so much money, and then have other lenders putting money as well too. And so, but essentially, she is going to be the manager. She's getting a good rate. The split is actually 70-30. I think it's 70-30. Yeah, 70-30. So, and she is buying a property that will be worth $6 million in the next 2 years for 150 grand. And then she's going to manage it. She's going to get it up and running. And then, you know, and she'll sell it in the next couple of years. And then we all get a cut for that. All right. That is creative deal structuring. That's creative deal structuring. That's just one of many ways for you to get deals. All right. So that is my job. My job is to find money, not only for me, but also for my students, so that when they find the deal, we can close that deal. All right. So it comes in many forms. Creative deal structuring. It comes in funds. It comes in syndication. It comes in private lenders. And it comes in banks. I know you can't see this, I'll put this down. And it comes in SBA loans. All right. That's how the money comes. Everyone's like, where are you getting the money from to do all this, right? All right, you're getting it from SBA loans, banks, local banks, I would say local banks, private money lenders, syndication, funds, like we have a Reg D fund that we have, and then creative deal structuring, like private equity or co-partnering, or stuff like this. Okay, that'd be like under creative deal structuring. So if you want to get into storage, and right now all you're thinking is I have $50,000 and I can afford a $300,000 deal, then you are thinking in a box. All right. You're thinking in a box. You need to learn how to think outside of that box. All right. And you need to learn how to think bigger with your money, because in the commercial real estate world, you got to learn how to do this. Otherwise, you ain't going to get that far, because guess what? Commercial property is expensive. All right. So this is how we do it. And that's my job in the company. And then we have the running part. Running. This is my husband, Pete, together with Bonnie and Chris. All right, Chris right here is the same Chris. So as Chris is driving around and looking for storage facilities, he's also our boots on the ground person to manage our facilities, right? And to go and check on them and get the trash out, maybe overlock or whatever we need to do, right? That's what Chris does. So Chris doubles as our boots on the ground person and our acquisitions person. So he gets paid a weekly salary to just drive around, check on all of our facilities. And then at the same time, he gets paid also commission. Like, so for the one that we're closed on today, he'll get money for that as well too. So he's doing good. All right. He's making some money. He's super excited. Bonnie is our operations manager. She's the one that answers the phones. She does all the auctions. She puts people into the software, the property management software. She manages like the whole property management software and the tenants. She's the person that everybody talks to on the phone, that kind of stuff. All right. That's it. That's what she does. She's been working with us for like 5 years, maybe longer. I'm not sure, maybe 6, 7 years. I'm not sure. She's been with us for a while. She's part of the family. And she just works out of her house. And then she works wherever. I looked on like Facebook the other day. She was like sitting at the beach. I was like, it's like Thursday. I was like, what are you doing? Aren't you working? She's like, yeah, I'm working. And I was like, okay. I said, whatever, you know. So that's how Chris and Bonnie are. They can live wherever they want. They can do whatever they want the entire week, just as long as, you know, everything gets done. Right? We lazy, right? And then Pete, my husband, that's my husband, Pete. And he is like the manager he manages the facilities. And as we grow, he's getting busy. Oh my gosh, he's getting so busy. I thought before, I was like, because he took care of my daughter, because we homeschool my daughter, and he stays home with her and like homeschools her and hangs out and everything. And I'm always here working really hard in my office and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing all day, you know? And he's just like, so up till about 1,000 doors, he was, you know, able to take care of Lillian and manage all of the facilities and stuff. But he does the stuff like onboarding the facilities, like the way that the management works is we have like basically the way it works is there's like these stages in self-storage investing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the first stage is just finding them, right? Is getting out there and finding them. This is the stage that's the hardest, because guess what? Nobody wants to take action. Nobody takes action, actually just gets out there and looks. Once you start looking, then you realize how easy it is to find them. All right. But people just don't just get over that hump, right? If you get out there and start looking, you'll find some deals. All right. This is stage 1. Stage 1 is finding them. Stage 2, once you get it under contract, now you're like, crap, somebody wants to sell. I got to put it under contract. What do I do? All right. And that phase, as soon as you get it under contract, that phase is the onboarding phase. That's we call onboarding. And that's like essentially do not do what we did, which is like wait till closing and then try to figure it all out. Essentially now what you want to do is in this onboarding stage, which is finding the funding, right? And then getting everything that you possibly can done, right? So that when you do close, which is stage 3, is now you've closed and you own a facility, right? When you get into this stage, you should be focusing on like automations and systems, right? Automate and systematize. Right, this is where I see this is how it works for my students. And the onboarding phase, this is like getting your software up and running, you know, so that the day that you close, you can just import all your tenants into there and get them to sign the contracts and just like bing, bang, boom, it's done, right? So this is like software and whatever, and all the kinds of stuff that you need to do to get ready and to have it closed. Okay, so that's your onboarding. And then stage 4 is like, all right, now I feel like I'm ready to get another facility. It's this on to the next one, right? On to the next one. Okay, so that's kind of how it works. Now, in our very first facility, when we started looking at this facility here, right, and we started looking at this facility here, we had no idea what we were doing. All right, there was not, back in the day when we bought one 5 years ago, there was like hardly, wasn't anybody that taught you how to do all this, right? So when we bought this, it took us a year just to figure out what we were doing. I was so afraid to raise rates. All right. I mean, I was just like afraid to raise rates and everything. And now I tell my students, as soon as you buy those things, raise them to what they should be, you know, but and then actually we raised the rates, and guess what happened? Nobody left. So now I tell my students, like, as soon as you buy that damn thing, you better raise those rates. All right. But anyways, on this facility here, like, you know, it took us 18 months to turn a profit. Now we are literally turning profits in 60 to 90 days on our properties, on the mismanaged ones. Any income producing, of course, as soon as you make it, you're going to be making money, right? As soon as you buy it, you're going to make money. But on the mismanaged ones, it should really only take you a couple of months to get that thing up and running. And that's because we figured out that there's this onboarding stage. And the onboarding stage is where you get everything that needs to get done, so that as soon as you buy that thing, you can get it up and running. Okay. All right. So that's basically I'll go into the last box. I'll get to that in just a minute. The finding, funding, running is really the process. All right. So on this facility here, what happened is I finally, like, I looked at the thing and I looked at the facility. Now granted, I have no idea how to look at, on this very first one, I didn't know how to run commercial bill analysis. I had no idea about cap rates. I had nothing at all. Right. You know, so I just was like winging it, really. I do not say wing it to anybody anymore, right? But essentially, we didn't have any idea what we were doing. So what we did is I called up my realtor and I said, look, I really am interested in this property. Like, let's go down there and let's talk to the owner and just see what he says. Now, this one was on the MLS. Now, there's like hardly ever any facilities on the MLS anymore. And if they are, they're always like way overpriced. It's like ridiculously overpriced. So, but, so we met the guy. His name was the name of this facility was Big John's, and we met the guy. His name was Butch. His name was Butch, and so we met Butch. Butch was like 88 years old, and he had just been managing. He literally managed this facility for almost 40 years. All right, and he was like, look, I get it. It's horrible here. He said after like 20 years, he's like, I didn't even want anything to do with this thing anymore. So he just kind of let it go to crap. And so I said, okay, well, how much? We walked around, and we were together for like maybe 2 hours, longer than that, maybe. And he was just telling the story about how he built it, the property, you know, and we're just like building rapport with him, getting to know him. And I said, okay, well, you know, how many units are there? And he said it's 64 units. There are 64 10 by 10 units. Okay. And he charges $35 for each unit. He charged $35. For a 10 by 10, they're like $80, $90 a month now, right?
Wow, craziness.
Crazy, huh? And then then also all of the parking, I was like, well, how many parking spaces do you have? Like, how many cars are paying? He said, we have about 40 parking spaces. I said, okay, 40, what are you charging those? And he said, we're charging $35 a month. I said, okay, all right, cool. I said, so 64 times 32 is what? Can we calculate that? 64 times, 35 is what? Maybe we could put that into the chat. Does anybody have any calculator to calculate that out?
That's like $2,100 a month if I'm my
2,100,
math.
okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. 2,000 to 2,100.
40 parking spaces at $35 a month. What's that? That's like, is that
so 104 times 35, 3640.
No, 40 total.
Yeah, total
Okay.
between the two.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so 3640 is what it is. Yeah. So I was looking at this thing and I was like, yeah, he should be. I mean, honestly, when I was walking around and what we were doing is we were like, and I told my husband, I said, like, count how many spaces like you think we could get here, because obviously he was just like, yeah, go find a spot. There was like no rhyme or reason. And so we started really kind of just calculating like how many parking spaces. And like, as we went all the way around, this is a 3-acre lot. I mean, that's a big piece of property, y'all. It's just flat and it's all fenced in. And then there's just one storage facility in the middle. There's a lot of parking. And in fact, this place here, he parks big rigs is what he parks. So he parks dump trucks, big rigs, tow trucks, and box trucks. That's what we park. So we don't park boat and RVs here. I know we have other facilities that we do that at, but not at this one. It's in kind of like an industrial area. And that's just kind of what people park there, you know. A lot of people don't have a place to park that stuff, you know. So he just like was parking that stuff there, but he was only charging like $35 a month for that stuff, right? And I think about like a big rig. I mean, those things they pay like at least 150 plus a month to park them into like a truck's place, right? Anyway, so he was making 36. I was like, okay, so you're making like at least $3,000 to $4,000 a month, right? He's like, oh, no. I'm making like 20. I'm making maybe 2,000 to 2,300. And I was like, 2,300 for all this? I was like, I went around and I counted all that. I counted you could at least get 50 or 60 parking spaces here if you really kind of organized it. You know, I mean, you should be making way more money than that. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, and it was completely full. Everything was full. He's like, yeah, it's full here. He's like, but nobody's paying. Right. So that's the difference between physical occupancy and economic occupancy. Right. So you could be 100% full, but what are they actually paying is the actual true income. Right. I mean, I could be like, I'm full. Yeah, I'm full, but I'm only charging $40 a month. And you should be charging $70 a month, right? So there's a difference between your physical and economic occupancy. And that's huge in the self-storage investing world, huge. So when you get in and start talking the lingo, that's what everybody's going to be asking. And that's what you should be asking is like, now, when you talk to regular people like Butch, and you say, oh yeah, what's your physical occupancy versus your economic occupancy? They're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? So you're going to be like, okay, how full are you and what are you making essentially? And then you're going to have to look at it and try to put 2 and 2 together. So that's basically what he said is he was full and he was making $2,000 a month. I was like, there is just no way this thing is only making $2,000. If I counted up 64 10 by 10s and I counted up 50 or 60 parking spaces, you should be making at least $5,000, if not more a month. And so, you know, he said, yeah, everybody, it's full, but nobody's paying. That's it. He's like, and plus like half of the units are just full. And I've never even, once they didn't stop, I never did auctions. I just never did auctions. I never cleaned anything out. I mean, he just literally let the place go. And guess what? I have 9 facilities, about to close on a couple more, and every single one of them is exactly like this. Every single one of them exactly like this. Okay. So now let's look at this. So then I said, okay, well, he had this on the market for $500,000. That's what he wanted to sell it for. All right. And the truth is that if it was full, it'd be worth way more than $500,000. Right. But it wasn't full. Right. The economic occupancy was like 25%. All right. So in his mind, he was like, oh, it's full. It's full. Like it should be worth this much money. And that's how owners think. I mean, they just have no idea what the true value of their property is. Right. And so he had this sitting on the property. He had this sitting on the MLS for 5 years. Nobody wanted it. And so I took full advantage of that. Essentially, I just took full advantage. I said, look, Butch, it's like, nobody going to buy this thing. Nobody going to buy this thing for $500,000, just so you know. Like, it's going to be, I was like, this is why nobody has bought it in the last 5 years. I said, I will buy this thing, but I'm not going to buy it for $500,000. I said, the truth is that I'm going to offer you something. It's probably going to be more than what it's actually worth. It's probably only worth like $100,000, $150,000 at the most. I said, but I'll pay you $200,000 is what I'll pay. And I said, I can close like immediately because I'm going to go and just get a private lender is what I'm going to do. And my private lender is going to lend to me at, you know, at 10% interest on this property. Remember, I'm just rolling my money over from my rehabs to something like this, right? This is the perfect thing to do, is if you have a $300,000 loan or a $200,000 loan on a rehab, you can roll that right over into a storage facility, right? A small one. And these small ones, these are not, there is nothing wrong with getting a small one, because I'm going to tell you what the numbers are on this now, because we're about to sell this sucker. Now, so I got a private loan, right, for 5 years at like 9% interest is what I got. Okay. And I put an offer in at 200,000. He was like, no, I'm not selling it for 200 grand. You crazy? And I was like, okay, well, essentially I'm the perfect buyer for you. I can close this thing in 2 weeks. I've got money. My lender approves it. Like, just, you know, if you really truly want to close this thing, then now is the time. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, okay. So then he called back the next day. He called my realtor the next day and he said, I'll close it for 250 grand. And I was like, sure, I'll take it for 250, because I already knew once I clean this thing up, and I didn't know how much it was going to be worth at all. Like, I'll go into the numbers now. I didn't really know any of that now. But now I know, like, this thing is like a gold mine. It took us a good year and a half to get this thing up and running. I mean, this was a dumpy storage facility, and most of them are not this dumpy, honestly. But remember, when it's a mess, it's more money, right? So just as long as you got to get some, you got to get your hands dirty. Now, the very first one that we bought, this one, like, we got in there and we were like doing auctions and figuring out the auction process and really just getting our feet wet, trying to figure it all out. Okay. Now it's all online. Everything's completely online. 5 years ago, nothing was online. Now you can do all your auctions right online. Just makes life. So that's why I said we could be completely virtual. Anywhere in the world, we can manage our facilities. And auctions are even part of that too. We can do those online. So anyway, so the numbers are now, let's just go into this. So now we still have 64 10x10s. Market rate is like $80 a month right now. It's like ridiculous. Market rate is like $80 a month. So let's run the numbers on this. So we have 64 10x10s at $80 a month. So what does that equal?
5,120.
Exactly. And then we have like 75 parking spaces. 75 parking spaces, and we charge $100 each.
Well, that's pretty easy.
Can you imagine?
7,500.
7,500. So now we have 7,500 plus 5,000 is like 12 grand. We're making anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 a month on this.
Wow.
Now, let's just say I'm making 10K, right? Economic occupancy, blah, 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 right? So we're making $120,000 on this property. And our mortgage, now remember, because when I was thinking in my mind, I was like, he said he was making $2 grand a month is what he was saying. I said, okay, $2 grand a month. Essentially, my mortgage needs to be $2 grand a month, so I can at least have enough money to pay the mortgage. That's literally how I came up with my number. I was like, I just need to make sure I can pay the mortgage every single month. And then I'll come out of pocket to do everything else. We'll just get in there and get our hands dirty and everything, right? So now our mortgage is like $2 grand a month. And then it probably costs another $1,000 a month to run this thing with the software, Bonnie answering the phones. Let's see what else, electricity. It's all concrete. So there's not even any yard work or anything. I mean, it's just really, that's really it. It's probably around $3,000 a month. So
I was going to say that I think, when people are used to multifamily expense ratios being like 45 to 50 and self-storage being in that 28 to 35%
exactly
ratio.
Right. So now I know, like, essentially at 120,000, you just do like 30% is what you would do. Right. So I should be spending around like 30 grand a month for expenses and stuff. I mean, 30 grand a year or something like that. It probably comes out to about that much with everything. But like, we're netting, our NOI is literally like 7 grand a month. And the truth is, I haven't even been to the storage facility in like 2 years. I haven't even been to the storage facility. I don't even know what it looks like. And my husband goes every once in a while and checks on it, but that's Chris's job. Chris goes and checks on it, and if anything ever bad is wrong or anything like that, the good thing is that the tenants will tell you as well too. So it's like, oh, like somebody's blah, blah, blahing or whatever, they'll just call and tell you. But yeah, we haven't been to this facility in so long. Our boots on the ground manages that. In fact, we were driving down to Florida to go look at this other facility that we just picked up today, and the other one that we're picking up next month. We were driving down, and we literally drove down through Valdosta. So we have one in Valdosta, and we drove past our facility. And I was like, "Oh, let's stop in and say hi. Let's go check on our facility." And he was like, "Why?" I was like, "Because we haven't seen it since January." And he's like, "It's a storage facility. There ain't nothing wrong with it. I promise. It's fine." And he wouldn't even stop and go look at the thing, right? I thought that's how trained he is on, like, it's true passive income. I mean, if you're going to buy a storage facility, you might as well make it passive income, right? You don't want it to be like active income. Now, every storage facility I've ever bought, the owners get up every day and they go and manage their storage facilities. That's what they do, right? That is not how we think, right? We are going to make them totally hands-off, totally passive. In fact, I tell all my students, the farther away your facilities are, the better, because the truth is like, we have one that's like right around the corner from where we used to live. And my husband would get up and go hang out at that thing. And he'd be like, "I'm going to the storage facility," and it's just got into this bad habit. And I was like, you know what, that's it. Like, from now on, our storage facilities are at least 4 to 6 hours away from us, if not more. And we know it's okay to buy a storage facility farther away from us, because all that does is helps us make it even more automated, even more systematized, even more hands-off. We have to rely on creating systems in order to manage that thing. That is true passive income, right? That's true passive income. So anyways, yeah. So we're netting around, let's say, $7,000 a month for this thing. Okay, $7,000 a month. So now, as we look at the sell price, so what happened is, like, some random guy called me up. He was like, "Hey, I've been watching you in your facility now for a couple of years. You really cleaned that thing up." He's like, "I'm really interested in buying it. I live in Peachtree City," because it's in the Peachtree City area here in Georgia. He's like, "I live in Peachtree City, and I really want to buy your storage facility." And I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Because it's going to be like a lot of money. This thing is making a lot of money." He's like, yeah, I want to buy. He's like, "How much money is it making?" I said, "It's making like 10 grand a month, this thing." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, no, I want to buy it. Name your price." And I said, listen, let me go back here. I said, "Guess what? I got my P&L. I got my balance sheet. I got my tax returns. I can prove to you that this thing is making $10,000 a month. This is no longer a mismanaged facility. It is now an income producing property. So that means that I can sell it at top dollar. All right. And I can sell it at the cap rate that it should be at. Right. So when you're looking at cap rates, right, the way that the cap rate world works in the storage investing world, right, is that in a primary market, cap rates are 4 to 6% on average. Okay. In a secondary market, cap rates are usually like 6 to 8%. Okay. And then in a tertiary market, cap rates are like 8+. That's kind of how it works for the most part. Now, mismanaged facilities, obviously, you're buying it at a different cap rate than you are income producing. I'm talking about income producing properties. Okay. Now this facility, the one that I'm showing you, this is in a secondary market.
Stacy, I don't mean to interrupt you. Could you explain a cap rate to those that may not know what the cap rate is?
So cap rate is essentially, the cap rate is going to show you the value of your property with your NOI in it. Okay. So what that means is that, like, when you look at a property, you look at the purchase price, and in the storage investing world, you're going to look at the purchase price. You're going to look at the annual income. You're going to look at the annual expenses. Let me write this down so y'all can have this. You're going to look at 4 things in order to determine your cap rate. So this is like cap rate, okay? Purchase price. You're going to look at your total annual income. You're going to look at your total annual expenses. Your total annual expenses, not theirs, right? Because that's another thing that storage facility owners are like, oh, this doesn't cost anything. It's just, taxes and insurance. That's it. There's nothing else to it, But of course, it's going to cost you money to run the thing. All right. Total expenses. This is usually 30% of the purchase price. I'm sorry, not purchase price. 30% of the income. 30% of the income, annual income, okay, or monthly income, however you want to do it. And then you're going to look at the vacancy rate. Okay, vacancy rate. All right. And the vacancy rate is that's basically going to determine your cap rate. That's like how it works. Now, what I do usually, so everybody here on their phone, you should have access to, or you should have a cap rate calculator on your phone. That's really it. That's all I do. Or you can have a yield calculator or a cap rate calculator. But if you have a cap rate calculator, you just use Easy Cap Rate Calculator, which you can download as an app, and it'll show you essentially the value of your property by just putting these 4 numbers in. Now, this is not how you run commercial deal analysis. Like, you need to look at the whole picture. This is a quick overview, essentially. Like, you can determine if it's a good deal or not, or what price it should be at, right? Now, if you look at the cap rate, like if you put this in, basically we'll just run the numbers on like what our property is, the one that I just showed you. All right, so we bought that for $250,000. We are making, let's say, 120 grand on that property per year. Vacancy is full, but we always keep it at 8% just because like people are coming and going and stuff like this. Okay. And you never want to run your numbers at 100%. And then the expenses are 30% of 120 is like, what is that? Is that like 40,000? Run it at 40,000. Okay. That's a 28% cap rate. That's like a ridiculous amount of cap rate. Okay. When I bought that property, it was only making, what was it making? 24,000, let's just say. And I bought it for 30%, expenses is 30 times 24 is what is that? Is that 8,000? 24 times 3 is what? Yeah, 6. Let's just put 6,000 as expenses. That's a 6% cap rate. So I bought it at like a 6 cap. All right. Now, when you look at this, and I'll show you, this is what it looks like. That's what a cap rate calculator looks like.
You actually bought it. You bought it at a high cap rate. You buy high, sell low, right? So you bought it. I think. But I just ran
No. I bought it at like I bought it within the cap rate.
Right.
Where it's supposed to be at.
Yep.
Right. I bought it where it was supposed to be at, and I got it to a 28% cap rate.
Yep, you did a really good job with it.
Right?
Exactly.
So I increased the cap rate all the way to 20%. Now I want to sell it at the cap rate that it should be back at.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
To everybody? Let me see if I can find that. So now sometimes my cap rates are even bad. Like sometimes they're like 2% cap rate or something, because a mismatched cap rate is always like a super low cap rate. But like, so you see, you want to sell it between this price. This is the sell cap. This is the sell price cap rate. All right. And actually what I was going to point out too is like, let's see, the income, the income minus the expenses is the NOI, right? The income minus the expenses is the NOI. So you really want to learn how to look at NOI and cap rate. Okay. Yep. So the income minus the expenses, and then you can determine the cap rate from that as well too. Okay. So that's kind of how that works here. Now that's like, this is like overview. It's like brief overview. Just remember that my very first deal, I had no idea about this, right? I just like looked at it, ran the numbers, counted up how many units there were, and said, I know like it's making 2,000 and I'm guessing it should make 7,000. So I should have a net of like $5,000, right? That's kind of how I looked at it. But now I'm telling you the numbers are even better than that. So let me find this. Okay, so now we're trying to sell this. We are going to sell this. The guy called us up and he says he wants to buy it. And I said, well, I could go. He said, I could sell it to you like probably for, I mean, I could sell it to you for an 8 cap, or I really probably could sell it to you for a 7 cap. All right. And he was like, you know, just give me the number. So I started running the numbers and I was like, okay, if I sell this thing for $800,000, all right, and I made $120,000 on it, and my expenses are $40,000. That's an 8.8% cap rate. So it's going to be more than $800,000 that I'm going to sell this for. I said, okay, well, what about if I just do like a 900,000? That's like a 7.8% cap rate. So I told him, I said, you know, and I'm just running the numbers on the phone. I'm like, look, it's going to be somewhere between $850,000 and $950,000. I said, in fact, we're actually about to redo the asphalt, because like I told you, it's like big rigs and stuff. So now that we've had this thing for 5 years, like you could just like the kind of like the parking, the asphalt's getting torn up. So we're just about to pay 50 grand to do the asphalt. He's like, don't do the asphalt. Don't do the asphalt. And I was like, we already ordered the asphalt. It's going to get done here in the next couple of weeks. And he's like, fine. Then he's like, what's the price? And I said, if we do the asphalt, it's going to be like, we're 950 grand. He said, okay, 950 grand, which is going to be a 7 cap. It's going to be like right at a 7 cap. He's like, I'm very interested in purchasing that property. And so now I'm like, so then I start freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to make like 650, 700 grand on this property. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Right. So then I was like, crap. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Should I sell this or not? Y'all tell me what y'all would do. But so yeah, so like I just so then I called up my accountant and I was like, okay, Roger, I was like, I don't know, like if we should sell this thing or not, but I bought it for 250 grand and I'm going to sell it for 950 grand. So we're going to make like $700,000. I was like, should we sell this thing? And he was like, okay, well, so he started going into like all the different ways of what we should be doing. Right. And, you know, and that comes back to this right here. This is where we're at now, liquidating. So we have not sold any of our storage facilities yet, right? Because we're buying new people. Like, why would you want to sell that? Storage facility owners, if they're making money, like that's like an unmotivated seller. Just so y'all know, they're like the most unmotivated sellers of all the sellers out there. All right. What they want is they want to look you in the eye. They want to shake your hand. That's what they want to do. Okay. So when you get into like bigger deals that are like, you know, millions and millions of dollars, it's a whole different ballgame. But I'm talking about like, you know, us, the mom and pop people. I'm a typical storage facility owner. All right. If you're going, I mean, I get calls all the time from people that want to buy my facilities. And I'm just like, right. Every facility that I've ever bought from, I'm right in front of the storage facility owner and I'm calling them and saying, look, I'm right here in front of your facility. Like, I'm very interested in buying this thing. Would you be interested in selling it? And they're all like, yes, I live right around the corner. Come to my house. It's true door knocking. It's driving for storage. That's how I get my deals. Right? That's how I get deals like this. So anyways, we are in the liquidation phase. So now it's like, you know, time to get like the ones that we're getting owner finance to us, we're going to keep. And the ones that we're like, we have private lenders for, we're going to just sell those is what we're going to do. And then the question is, what are we going to do? So that's where my accountant comes in and he's like, okay, you can keep it. Right. And then you pay, you know, you just pay your regular taxes, right? Just keep it and just pay regular taxes. You could sell it and you're going to pay 150 grand in taxes. That's how much it's going to cost you. Either you can 1031 exchange it, right, into a different facility, or you can owner finance it. Those are your 4 options, Stacy. And so, of course, we're thinking about doing one or the other. And we are, like I said, we are typical storage facility owners. Storage facility owners are very open to owner financing. In fact, the one that I'm closing on next month, I'm getting owner financed. All right, another one. And the reason why exactly comes full circle back to what I said in the very beginning. In the commercial world, you just make a lot of money. All right. And so you can either roll that into a bigger deal. Some of them will do that for, or you can owner finance that. And like, for instance, the guy that we're owner financing from next month, essentially he's like older and he don't want to buy no more property. He doesn't want to roll into another deal. He has a pine straw company. He just wants to retire with this pine straw company that he's been doing for 40 years. And he doesn't want any more real estate. He's just done with real estate. So the perfect plan for him is to owner finance that deal to me, because he will get that monthly check every single month. All right. And I'm going to tell you, he is a typical storage facility owner. I'm a typical storage facility owner. If somebody came to me and said, look, I would love to buy your property, owner finance it, I'll put this much down, you'll get this much per month for the next 10 years. I'd be like, yeah, why not? Why would I not do that? But the truth of the matter is that most people don't even ask if they would be interested in doing that, right? Nobody really asks. They only think of that one thing. Remember I said 20% down, go to get a loan. The truth of the matter is you have to learn how to do creative deal structuring. In order to make it in the commercial real estate world, you have to learn how to do all different kinds of deals. So now for this one, we're going to owner finance it to the guy. We're going to owner finance it. So essentially we owe $250,000 to the lender. Remember, we borrowed $250,000, and he's going to pay us the buyer's going to pay us $300,000, and then we're going to owner finance the rest. Is what we're going to do. And so that way we just have that money coming in. Right. And some of them will do that on, and some of them will just, like, we're selling another one right now. We're just going to sell and just roll that money. We have one of them that we have, we bought it for $150,000. We're selling it for $350,000. So we're going to make like $200,000 on it. And then the lender that lent us the $150,000, we're just going to take their $150,000 and our $200,000, and we're going to go and use that as a down payment for the next property that we buy. And that's $1 million property. Right. So we're going to do that as well, too. So there's a lot of different options. But what I'm saying is that I'm a typical storage facility owner, and most people think exactly the way that I'm thinking. So make sure that you ask them if they're open to creative deal structuring, because a lot of them are. In fact, I have students that have done subject twos on storage facilities, lease options on storage facilities, and owner financing on storage facilities. So you want to make sure that you ask that as well, too. So let me go back over kind of everything that we talked about. And then we can do final questions. So essentially the very first property that I ever bought was for $250,000, and I'm selling it for $950,000. All right. I owned it for 4 years. We're going into our 5th year right now. Our 5th year is up in October. And so we're just trying to figure out, like, basically we're in that time period where it's like, what should we do? And this guy calls me, wants to buy it. So this is how we did. We bought a mismanaged facility that we turned into an income producing property. Okay. We have a lean, mean self-storage investing machine, right? So we have 4 people to manage 1,000 doors, over 1,000 doors, and we're adding another 200 doors. And then of course, Bonnie's like, I told Bonnie the other day, I was like, we're buying like another couple hundred. And she was like, I wouldn't expect anything else, Stacy. I just wouldn't expect anything else. So she just goes with the flow. We'll see what happens after a while. She could be like, look, come on, I need some help, man. But right now she's fine. Okay. And I think it's really kind of, it's easier for her because she can just be anywhere and manage everything, because you just have like an iPad, you just get online, you answer the calls, you do whatever, she could just take that and do that wherever. And okay, so then we talked about income producing property versus mismanaged properties, right? There's 6 different ways to invest in self-storage. These are 2 of them. And we talked about cap rates, what you want to sell your cap rate. Buying income producing properties are in this area. Selling them are in this area. Mismanaged properties will be cheaper. You look at the yield more than you look at the cap rate when you look at a mismanaged property. Your yield should be 20+%. Okay. Let's see. We talked about the stages, right? Finding them, funding them, onboarding them, closing them, automating and systematizing them, and then you're on to your next one. This will take anywhere from 6 to 9 months if you make it a priority. But if you do shiny object syndrome and you get kind of sidetracked and stuff, and it's just like, it takes however long that it takes, right? But this is taking now, for this entire process, it's taking us anywhere from 6 to 9 months, okay? So slow and steady wins the race. This is not like wholesale this and wholesale this and wholesale, do whatever. Like, this is slow and steady wins the race. It's passive income. All right, we talked about the cap rate and everything that you need to know. Make sure you have a cap rate calculator on your phone so you can run numbers. And we talked about liquidating and all the different ways you can make money once you get these things up and running, right? There's nothing wrong with flipping storage facilities. Wholesaling is one of the other ways that you can invest in self-storage. If you're a wholesaler on the residential side, definitely look at wholesaling on the self-storage side. Right, so wholesaling, I'm just going to write these down. I'm not going to get into them. But wholesaling, you make so much money on wholesaling self-storage. I just wholesaled one, made 65 grand on it. I did nothing except for just call somebody up and down to buy her. Wholesaling. Lending. If you're one of those people now that's like, I got some money, I don't know where to put it, lend. There's funds, private lending, all different syndications, all kinds of stuff. It's a good way for you to learn how to get in the business as well too, by lending. You can do conversions, right? You see those retail buildings that are like all empty and stuff, and people are now making them into storage facilities. That's called conversions, right? This is a great way to get involved. And new construction. These are the other 4 ways. Right, new construction, right? So there's somebody listening right now that's like, I got a piece of property that's perfect for a storage facility, right? So that is new construction. Now there's a lot of things that go into this, but this is a great way to get into real estate, into self-storage. And there's really not enough storage facilities out there. We are full. We have one that is not full because it is a dumpy facility that we're working on. But other than that, we are full, and we are in tertiary markets, and we're full. Secondary and tertiary markets. There's not enough storage out there. So if you have the stomach to do this, highly recommend doing this as well too. These are the 4 plus income producing and mismanaged properties. So 6 ways of investing in self-storage. All right, that concludes everything. Oh yeah, what I wanted to point out too is if you are interested in learning how to invest in self-storage, I have a course. It's called Super Simple Self-Storage. Super Simple Self-Storage. And I think Scott, you have the link, so you could put that into the chat.
I made a very simple link, a bit.ly link, bit.ly/super simple self-storage. So
if you go to my website, the course is $19.97. Okay, but for Scott, I put it down to $7.97. And
awesome.
It's literally like step by step. So
it's a great class. I tell you that. You've got people online, YouTube, or people watching online, India from Ohio.
Okay, ask me some questions.
She goes, love Stacy. She's the best. If you have capital, need to invest, or want simpler than apartments to start, you're in the right place. She's an amazing educator, coach, join her training and coaching in India, Ohio.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, she comes to my webinars and my training.
Yeah, the CVG folks said thank you. Love the info. Robert Rodriguez says keep it coming. Another question online here. Couldn't you get a bank loan on when you're selling, instead of selling, hold on to the property, do a bank loan and cash out, refi on that one?
Yeah, I could refi out. Yeah, I didn't put that on there actually. I could refi out as well.
Okay.
Yes. I could refi out if I want to do that. But the thing is, it costs so much money to refi. So
just an idea.
Yeah, let's
we
put
just asked that.
Here too, refi. That's another one that you could do on the liquidations. Okay.
Yeah, your training is so easy, step by step, module by module. I've got another question from somebody online there. Is there an option to pick up the phone and talk to somebody if we've got questions?
Just email to questions@stacyrossetti.com, but you can always go on if you have a deal and you need to it needs to be analyzed, then you can just do a consult as well. Okay. But honestly, the truth is you need to learn how to do this.
Yes.
Come on, people. I mean, learn how to actually run deal analysis. Once you learn how to run commercial deal analysis, I'm telling you, the world is your oyster.
Yep.
Because when you get into the commercial side, it's like night and day. I will never, ever buy a residential property again. In fact, we live in an RV. I'm like so tired of property, but I just know that we just make so much more money. The thing is, I own millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of storage, and I haven't put a dime of my own money into them. My money goes into other people's facilities and partner with them. I get people to loan me money for my deals, and then I loan out my money to everybody else for all their deals.
Where do you? Yeah, that is. Somebody asked a question here. How much you said automated stuff? So, are you using online when you to? It's hard to
manage. Yes, it's
to manage to get new people in. How is that done?
Yeah, that's all online. It's called, so in the storage investing world, it's called contactless. So that word came about during COVID. Now, we were already contactless like 5 years ago. So they have basically software. Now they're like really kind of robust and stuff. When we started 5 years ago, they were all just like very simple. But there's like softwares out there that literally just manage like your storage facility. Everything that you could possibly imagine about running your facility is all online now. Now, a couple of years ago, we got started like 4 or 5 years ago. They were very, very simple, but now they're just getting all robust and everything. In fact, my husband, because we have so many facilities, they use him as a beta tester. And he tests like the software and says like, okay, try this and do this. And, because he's always like complaining about everything. He's like, oh, you should do this and do this. So he's like a beta tester now. We use a software called StoreEdge is what we use, StoreEdge. But there's a good handful now. There's probably like 10 of them. Okay.
Let's see. David asked a question. Do you guys, do you partner or do you take on partners or syndicates?
Yes, I partner with my students. All right. So my students get priority. They get my money first. So you can always look into that. But then I get people like, so for instance, like so the one that we're closing on in Florida, that's the owner financing one. It's this still is so good. Oh my God. So good. I'm gonna make like $1 million on this thing. So we picked it up for $600,000. It's worth right now $750,000, but it's on a 2-acre lot, and it's worth we're going to add another 100 units on there. So it's 116 units. We're going to add 100, so it can be like 225 units, something like this, on a 2-acre lot. We're picking it up for $600,000. And the owner, I said, would you be interested in just like owner finance? And he said, yes. I said, okay, well, tell me what you want to do, your terms. He said, okay, put $200,000 down, and then I'll owner finance $400,000 of it over 10 years at 4.5% interest. I mean, that's and add a 20% amortization. So the mortgage could be like $1,500 a month. And we're going to be making like $10,000 a month. And so that's the guy that I talked about, that he has the pine straw company, and he don't want to buy a facility, he doesn't want to buy something else. He just wants to be done with property, So anyway, so I got a partner to come and partner with me, and he's going to bring the $200,000, right? So I'm not putting any money into the deal. Okay. And also he's going to bring the $350,000 that it's going to cost to build the 100 units. So all in all, he's going to bring $550,000. I'm bringing nothing to the table, and we're splitting the deal. I'm going to pay him like a preferred interest rate on his money once we get it in phases and stuff, and then we're going to split the deal. Nice. So essentially, we're going to make so much money, and that property, once we put the 100 units up, is worth like $2 million. Wow. And I'm putting no money into that deal. I'm going to manage it. We're going to manage is what we're going to do. That's what I told him. I was like, I'm managing this thing. I'm going to be doing the work. I need your money. I'll do the work. And then we split the profit. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. That's fine.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, one of the great things I love about what you're doing too, Stacy, is you're not going on the main highways. You're finding these smaller units, the ones where really, you didn't say it, but it's where the owners have created another job, that they don't want another job. They want to kind of take it easy and be lazy. And you're finding these places where people have created another job they dislike.
There is nothing wrong with buying property in towns that are 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people or less. I buy property in towns that are like 5 to 30,000 people. And guess what? They all need storage. They all need storage. Now there's like, you need to do some like market research and stuff like that, learn how to do all that. But essentially, yeah, they're going to make the same amount of money there versus like in a secondary market in Atlanta. The cap rates are not that much different in a tertiary versus a secondary market. Now, primary markets are different because you're going to need money and capital, and stuff like this. But secondary and then tertiary, not a lot different, I'm telling you, and easier to manage. See, what I like is I like investments. I don't want businesses.
Yep.
Right. So I don't want to go out and buy 1,000 doors and then have this big ass huge business that we're going to sit there and manage all the time. Right. So we create portfolios is what we do. So like I said, that one town that we're buying our facilities, and we just closed in Florida, in the Panhandle of Florida. What happened is as Chris drove for storage, he called one up and they were like, yes, we do want to sell. And so we put an offer, and they took the offer. Like, we just put the offer in. And actually the rule with Chris is that he calls them right when he's in front of the facility. And then if they say, yes, they want to sell, he cannot leave until he leaves an offer. So he leaves contracts there. So he left a contract, and they just signed it. They just signed it. I mean, it was just like, they just signed it. So then I told Chris, I said, okay, now call every storage facility within like an hour distance, because we need to start creating these portfolios. And so he called in the same town 5 minutes away, and this other person wanted to sell. So literally our two facilities, like, we're in a town now of like 25,000 people within a 10-mile radius, and Miss Lillian Self-Storage is taking over.
That's such good stuff. I love it. You've got a sweetheart of a daughter. She's just grown up like a weed too, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She's wonderful. I love her.
Now, are you? Somebody asked a question earlier on about do you have a dollar amount of capital improvements like paint or maintenance and stuff that you're putting in initially to kind of sprites?
That's CapEx. That's CapEx is what that's called, capital expenditures, and it's different for every single deal. Honestly, most of them, it's not a lot of money. Honestly, right. Now some of them like the one that my student's buying, the $3 million one of them, she's doing a $3 million property. Her CapEx is $40,000. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's not a lot of CapEx. There's right. Not a lot of work on these things. It's more like getting the trash out, cleaning out the units. This kind of stuff is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not like multifamily where you got to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to go fix these things up. It's just right. Not.
Yeah. Now, with all the units you've bought and going and buying some that were I've most mismanaged that aren't paying, do you have a number as far as track a ratio of getting people? Because I know you go do a lot of automated payments versus showing up with checks or paying cash, stuff like that. Are you seeing any pushback or turnover on that stuff where people aren't getting on the automated system for you?
If they don't want to follow our rules, they're not going to become a tenant. That's it. It's the 21st century.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. So every once in a while I'll get some random person that's like, you don't take cash? It's like, no, like, I run a business. This is how I feed my family. You pay us so that we can provide for our family. Like, because actually the truth is every time we ever get cash, like my husband was at like one of the facilities, like I was like, oh, yeah, I got my right here to give him like $100. And Pete was like, we got $100. I was like, awesome, grocery money. And like, it didn't even go into the bank account. So I'm like, no, we cannot take cash. This is bad news.
Especially remotely and stuff like that. Let's make sure you get the documentation.
Yeah. No, you need to do, it's just automatic on the 1st. That's how it works. By the 5th, it's considered late. They get charged $25 for late fee. By the 15th, it's like overlock. They get another $25. And by the 25th of the month, we start the auction process. It's a $50 fee for that. So essentially, if they're late, they have $100 charge in that month just for being late.
So is Chris managing the locking on that stuff, or you have somebody locally that's managing?
We have like a whole system that we do, but yeah, he manages all that. And actually the software manages that too.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really cool. Good stuff. Guys, gals, what other questions do you have for the self-storage superstar Stacy here? We need to get a t-shirt that says that. Self-storage superstar Stacy.
Well, you need to check out the super simple self-storage course.
Yes.
Like I said, it's $797. That's for folks Normally, if you go to the website, it's $19.97. So make sure that you use Scott's link as well too. Okay.
Yeah,
everybody?
the links in the chat
And
roll
then
there,
just get
everybody.
started. Just
Right.
get started. That's really just taking the first step is really what it is.
Exactly. And this is such a great training. It's online, and the way she has it put together, it's such a simple and easy way to follow for you guys. And then always, you got a great team available for questions, stuff like that. Are you doing any like in persons, any tours of stuff like masterminds and stuff like
For
that
my
too?
students, for my
Yeah.
students, we do this, but not not for anybody else.
Oh, well, no, I mean, yeah, for your students, of course, but
Yeah,
how often are you doing those?
we have a coach. The coaching program is Storage Nerds, is what it's called, Storage Nerds. So if you want to be a storage nerd, then check out Storage Nerds. All right, yeah, we do all that in the coaching program.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Big plans the rest of the week, but you're closing on another one. David says,
Well,
thank
we
you,
close
Scott.
on one this week, and then we close on 2 more in the next month. And so my husband is just like, "Can you please take a break?" And then we're traveling. We're actually heading to Florida within the RV, and we're going to stay down there and kind of like, get them all set up and stuff like that.
There you go. That's good stuff there. Good stuff. Well, Stacy, is always so great to see you. We got to catch up in person now that things are opening back
Next
up.
time I'm in Austin, we're going to
You got it. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm in Florida today.
Oh,
So if
that's
you're going to be
funny.
down here for a longer couple of days, I'd say, hey, come to Orlando.
Where are you? What are you doing in Florida?
We've got some extra nights. We Disney Vacation Club, so we got a ton of points. We're just using it in
Oh, okay,
Southwest.
so y'all are on vacation. Okay.
I'm working. Steph goes to the pool, goes to the parks. I work a little bit today, hang out at the pool for a couple hours between water breaks. So
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But
Good.
working remote,
vacation.
just like you, just working remotely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. Awesome. Well, it was great to see you. Thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out and listening. And just let me know if y'all have any questions.
Sounds good. Great. I love the whiteboard. Great stuff, Stacy. Congratulations on all your success.
Okay. All right. Take care.
We'll see you later. Bye. All right, guys, it's going to wrap it up. Make sure you take advantage of that by clicking on that link there, bit.ly, very, very simple, bit.ly/super simple self-storage, where the S's are capitalized. So super simple self-storage, all capital S's, and take advantage of it. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Great training. Absolutely the best of what she does. And you can tell, I mean, she's hands-on. She's going to share her secrets. And if you decide to take a burner or something to be coaching, hey, well worth it. If this is one classification, we need plenty of these. This is actually a subset of one of the things I focus on as well, because we have a lot of stuff here in Texas as well, a lot of small towns and stuff like that. So go on, take some action, guys. Robert said she actually prefers the outside, because what you see is the outside's more smaller instead of the climate controlled ones. The climate controlled ones are usually higher dollar. You don't see a lot of climate controlled ones in the outside tertiary markets. It's usually the external markets on that with no climate control. So she prefers the actually outside drive ups for you. So hopefully that. Any other questions for you guys tonight? Well, thank you again for coming on US REI Network here. Make sure to join us next week with yours truly. And speaking about buying non-performing notes, we have Aaron Young the following week as well, talking about how to protect your assets with the corporate bail. But go out, take some action, buddy. And we look forward to seeing you all the time. Bye.